Hello, my friend. Would you like to be healthy and happy? What if you can also imagine not just being in a state of surviving, but being in a state of thriving on all levels of your life? Chapter 2 in my book, Healing Happens, is all about shifting from surviving to thriving, and this is an interview with Coach Ruben. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Avital. I am known as a healing breakthrough facilitator, and I'm happy to be here to share with you a little bit about this chapter and what else you can take from it. Coach Ruben shares the story of Angela, who he had actually coached when she was in high school in swimming. And she called him as a grown woman to say goodbye because she thought she was going to die probably within months from diabetes. But he worked with her and he turned things around in a matter of days. And his theory is about how to shift from surviving to thriving. And he has, from his major in biology in undergraduate, a theory also explaining in wonderful detail biologically the importance of shifting from surviving to thriving, of shifting from living in our sympathetic nervous system to our parasympathetic nervous system, from being in the fight and flight response to being in the relaxation response, from being in a state of being depleted to being in a state of healing, in a state where we can see more healing and more thriving happen. So we're going to go from surviving to thriving. There's 5 key ways that he mentions to do so by focusing on what we think, what we speak, the actions we take, and one of the key things there he mentions is keeping promises to yourself, the company we keep, and the foods that we eat. And what I want to do is extend this question to you and say, what other ways do you shift into a more relaxed, contented, and thriving state? Is it taking time to de-stress and doing some meditation or walking in the woods? Is it taking true time with yourself, where you're not even meditating with techniques, but you're sitting and being with yourself? I like doing that also in restorative yoga or just by taking a bath, because when I meditate, I'm either doing techniques or I'm in some other zone, and I'm not always necessarily just sitting with myself, right? Sometimes I'm meditating and just sit with myself. I wanted to make sure that you keep that in mind, is true quality time with yourself. And learning to love yourself is going to make it easier to sit with yourself. And that'll also get you into a more relaxed state, getting you out of the sympathetic nervous system and into that parasympathetic nervous system. So notice what I'm doing here is I'm creating options because I want you to consider how to personalize your path of healing, your path of development, of growth, of thriving, to be specific to what Coach Ruben calls aligning with your divine design. And when he talks about food, he gets into a really wonderful template foundation. You can almost use that one chapter as your entire handbook of diet, of going into a really basic vegan diet that can still be tasty. That's the key there. We want to still enjoy our food. But when you keep reading in my book, Healing Happens, you get to the last chapter with Maureen Bell, you're going to get a whole other perspective on how to tune in each moment to what your body actually needs to feel relaxed in that moment. And there's even a practice in that chapter of how we can tune into more specifically what the body wants. Now, I hear this from women who've been pregnant, and you might be vegan, let's say, but all of a sudden you're craving meat when you're pregnant. The body craves something different, at different times. And being pregnant is a more drastic shift, right, in time. But as our bodies change, as we're in different environments, as our activities are different, we're going to crave something different. And that's an example on food, but we can adapt all the other aspects of our lifestyle as well to be personalized in each moment for ourselves. So focus on what truly relaxes you at each moment of your life. And then as you go through this book, you can see all of the different paths that are mentioned in the book and tune into or experiment with what are the specific paths for your own self. And as you go along, keep in mind that we don't want to overwhelm, and that often when you do just one thing, that's going to impact the entire template of who you are. So isn't that nice? You only need to make one change, make the one that you're most excited about, and the one that you naturally think is going to be the most impactful, and do that first. See how that goes. Let it become a routine, a habit, and then move on to incorporating more and more. And you're naturally going to be able to incorporate more and more of these habits as you start to change with each one. That's part of the magic of just starting with one thing, and part of the magic of what I also explain in the How to Create a Recharging Habit course. What I'm going to do is also tell you how to get the Healing Happens book. And you simply go to healinghappensbook.com. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you on the next one.